Alright. On the way to the gym, finally. Had a very long day. Got caught up in trying to get a whole bunch of stuff, and honestly took me way longer than it needed to. Can't fucking see shit. So yeah, getting out of here a little bit later than I wanted to, but it's whatever. We'll be there on time tomorrow. But anyway, so today's pull day, width biased, lat biased pull day. I'm expecting it to go well. I mean, I got all my meals in. Got all my meals in. Nothing out of the ordinary happening or going on. So other than that, I mean, I'm ready to get in there and finish this day out with a good lift. So, but one thing that's kind of sucked though is that I won't be able to go heavy, or well, as heavy as I was last time. So just gotta think about that this time around while I go into all my stuff. Gotta remember, like, hey, it can't not go as heavy as this time, or last time, not this time. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens when we get in there. But haven't checked my weight in a little bit. Probably need to do that to even stop. Yeah, definitely need to be checking on my weight. Haven't done that in a little bit, mainly because I haven't had the opportunity to get a raw weight. It just hasn't presented itself the last couple days, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get a raw weight, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, there we go. All right. But yeah, I was not expecting yesterday's speech to go that long, so. Alright, let's see if we can make it through. Come on. Anyway, yeah, so, but speaking of yesterday's speech, I don't know what is going on, but I'm having some, I don't know, it's like not wanting to export from my editing software app thing. It's like being a pain in the ass and not wanting to export for some reason. So hopefully, I shut down my computer before my left, so hopefully that will maybe the act or action of shutting it down will you know, make it fix itself and whatever's going on. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, I'm gonna basically, all I have to say, I'm gonna try it. Pardon me. I'm gonna try and get out the video tonight. It depends on how long that takes, though. The export, because I still have to export it because it never exported. So I still have to export it, and then on top of that I have to upload it, which, you know, it's gonna be rough dealing with that, because for some reason trying to upload like an hour plus of just any video always just is a pain in the ass. Of course you get in this lane at the last second, you freaking faggot. Piss me off. Wow. Yeah, you are retarded. Holy shit. Stupid ass. Anyway, but yeah, I'm glad to be back in there, so we'll see what happens when I get in there. Considering that it's Friday, the gym should be pretty empty, because it always is in that evening time frame on Fridays, so because everyone's out party or club or whatever, and having fun. But you know, my fun is being in there, throwing around some weight. Well, probably not throwing it around, because probably wouldn't be the best idea, but maybe on a bulk. On a bulk, that's a different story, you know. So you can manhandle your weight and whatnot. But on a prep, you gotta be a little bit more controlled with it. Doesn't mean don't go crazy, just means go crazy in a controlled fashion, as certain Sam Sulek would say. Why are you getting in the left lane? You're not passing anyone. But anyway, yeah, other than that, don't really have a lot to say. So been a little bit of a high stress day, just going from one thing to the next and getting caught up in other things that shouldn't have taken as long as they did and all that crap. So yeah, other than that, I'll see you in there. You know what? I'm gonna do another full body pose on. Looking absolutely shredded. Excuse me. Excuse me, God.
I'm out of poses. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but it's whatever. Anyway. Excuse me. Well. Anyway. Overall, great lift. Everything felt great. So, no complaints. And, you know, I thought Monday was my best look. This right here, this is something else. So, damn. Anyway, yeah, overall great lift, looking insane. So yeah, I'll see you in the car. All right, I decided to stay a little bit after and do some posing routine practice, and let's just say I have never looked that good before. So needless to say, I am most definitely excited to see to see how I look on stage, and the days leading up to that. I'm very, very excited for when that happens. Anyway, overall, yeah, absolutely great lift. Everything felt good. So, but yeah, that's gotta be my best look ever, and I'm not one to I'm not one to say I look good that often. And I mean, there are a couple reasons for that. It's like, you know, I've gotten people, you know, I've been asked before, like, what, do you think you don't look good or something, or what? And it's like, it's more so that I like to be realistic. I like to be realistic with myself, you know? I don't, you know, basically, and this does happen, but I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. You can keep it in check, but anyway, basically, like, if you start thinking you look good, like, all the time, you start to become satisfied. You start to become satisfied, you know, you might start, like, when you're training, you might not train as hard. You might start to not train as hard. You might start to, you know, think that, oh, it's okay to skip that meal, or it's okay to eat this instead of I'm supposed to be eating. You can turn on red, sir. Anyway, but, you know, some people are dumbass. Some people are like, you know, why, you know, some people might think like, oh, you're just, you know, shouldn't be down on yourself, you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. And it's like, you know, if the people who don't keep themselves in check, well, let's just say, let's take a look at them and see where they're at, you know. But now, I don't mean that in like when I say keep themselves in check, I don't mean like keep themselves in check in like an arrogance or like boastful kind of sense or way. I mean that in like, you know, keeping themselves in check by, you know, like not being, essentially not being satisfied with how they look. Because it's like, you know, I mean, I already said this, but, you know, once you get satisfied, you basically start to become lazy. It's like, you know, that's just not going to happen. I'm just not going to let that happen. So, and I mean, you know, with laziness comes, you know, you start to slack on stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I'm like, basically, I call it how it is. Like, if I look good, then, I mean, I'm gonna, you know, say to myself, like, I'm looking good. I'm looking better than I did yesterday or whatever. Or, like, if I have my best look to date, stupid ass. I wish there was a cop there. Anyway. Sorry, dude did a U-turn where there's a sign that literally says, my bad, that literally says no U-turn. So, there was one time someone did that and there was a cop and then the cop pulled him over. It was the funniest thing ever. Oh man. Oh, that was funny. Oh man, that was hilarious. Bro, could you drive any slower? Alright. But yeah, basically I just, you know, basically the root of it is I just don't want to become overly satisfied, which then leads to me slacking off in my training or, you know, whatever other areas, you know, eating. I don't really know how you'd be slacking on sleeping, but yeah, you know. And the thing is, like, don't get me wrong, you know, like I said, I definitely, I mean, this is, like, I mean, I like to be, I like to stay truthful. I like to be truthful about everything. And not just, like, subjectively, but objectively. Like, without a doubt, you know, whatever I agree with or whatever, you know, I'm about to say is objectively true. At least that's, you know, how I try to speak about things and whatnot. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is just simply objectively true. You know, this is the best I've ever looked. And I mean, I can scroll back to my day one workout photos, my progress pictures that I took. I think this August is gonna be either 5 or 6 years. So now, and not even necessarily of lifting, but of like working out, because I started off doing like calisthenics crap in my garage, and then from there went on to other stuff, and then eventually made my way into lifting and whatnot. And Then eventually, then from there got into the gym because we had a home gym, so I was using like home gym stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the gym. So yeah. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, without a doubt, like, best I've ever looked. You know, I mean, obviously, definitely the most shredded I've ever looked because I'm in prep. But I want to say this, it might just be like the, you know, illusion of prep of how it like makes you look bigger, but I mean, to me, this is also the biggest and just craziest in general I've ever looked. But at the same time, I'm not where I want to be, which might be like crazy to some people, but you know, starting tomorrow, or well, when this video comes out, it'll be 5 weeks. So starting the leg day, basically tomorrow's leg day is going to be 5 weeks out. So, you know, 5 weeks in 1 day, technically, as of right now. Well, 5 weeks and 1 hour and 43 minutes. Yeah. Because it's, oh, never mind, that's 42 minutes now. Because it's currently 22:18 for me, or 10:18 for the normal people. 10:18 p.m. for the normal people. I mean, well, I guess normal is subjective because it depends on what's more widely used, but anyway. But yeah, I mean, we still got 5 weeks, basically, of prep. So now, with how I look right now, I definitely think I'm gonna reach how I want to look by prep, or by show day. By prep. Already in prep. By show day. So, which is, you know, also something I'm glad about, because yeah, otherwise I'd be I'd be pretty pissed off if I didn't reach where I wanted to, you know, if I didn't look how I wanted to by show day. So, but yeah, then that's really all I got. So I will see you tomorrow for a posterior chain bias leg day.